Oh my, where do we begin? Hello, folks. Welcome to I haven't done a show like this in quite a while, but after the events of yesterday, I feel that I had to come on and discuss what we witnessed, what we saw. I've got some pictures, I've got a little video, I've got some stories. Yes, we are going to pay homage. I don't even know if you can call it a career, but the whatever our old Dabbleverse friend Stuttering John attempted to do last night ended like the Hindenburg crashing into the Titanic. We'll get to that in just a little bit. So hey, I'm Chris. How you doing? Haven't seen you guys in a while. You guys know me from my karaoke shows and gaming and stuff like that. So let's just get right into this thing. Um, I was not going to go to this event. I said like, got to pay for the train for my wife and I to go down there. Then I got to take an Uber, and that costs money. Then buy the tickets, and then you got to drink minimum at the place. It's money. You know, it's not exactly cheap money. It wound up being actually pretty affordable. But I wound up finding a parking garage that was right around the block from Rodney's, which is the place where this was. It's the original Dangerfields comedy club down on I forget if it's First Avenue in Manhattan. So I said, well, now I really don't have an excuse. Anthony's going, all of our friends are going. I said, you know what, I gotta go. So bought the tickets day before, which was a real wonky thing. They use this Parvo app or something at Rodney's, and it wouldn't let me put the QR code on my phone. And I'll get to that in a minute as well, because that is tied into a Johnism. So we get down there, got there about 6:30, parked across the street, literally could see Rodney's right from the parking garage. So as I'm walking over there, and let me see, I believe I have a picture here. Oh yeah, here you go. This is the place we're talking about here. That's Rodney's. So you see there's a vestibule there in the front, and everybody could stand underneath the awning, whatever. There was a crowd starting to gather. Not a monster crowd, but it was enough. The first people I see as we cross the street, old pal Big A is there. High Pitch Eric from the Stern Show is there. And I ran into Zenhauser from the Rico Show. And I've known him for a little while. I met him at Compound a couple of years ago. Great guy. Looks phenomenal, by the way, I have to say. Really did lose a lot of weight. Kudos to him. Beautiful job. Funny guy. Really nice guy. And I saw Carl from Who Is Their Podcast, Who Are These Podcasts, there. And the first picture that I had to take was with the lovely Lucy Tightbox. Kaylee. Love her show, love what she does. Brilliant girl. Was so happy to see her. So you can see it was getting a night out. There's people. This guy photobombing me right there. So we were standing outside for just maybe 10 minutes. And then Anthony shows up. Go back to this picture. He had an Uber. So he pulls up. And the whole aura of the evening changed right when he stepped out of the car. He steps out. Hey! And everybody is just smiles, in a phenomenal mood. That kicked off the night. All right, he's here. All of a sudden, I started to see more and more people come. Bob Levy and Gina Levy. Who else? Gino and Keanu. Obviously, they were performing, so we saw them come. We all go inside Rodney's. And Rodney's itself is a very small place. It's just like all the buildings in New York City. It's kind of like a railroad. It's sideways inside. So when you walk in the door, in fact, I don't know. Let's see, I have. Remind me that I'm going through a lot of these pictures. Okay, so you can see here. Let me turn off the smooth transition. See, I don't have a producer to do this, so I got to do this myself. still blurring. Okay, so there you see the front door, the entrance, and there you see this big A right in the middle. There's Zen right to his left. It's starting to jam in, crowd. There's Garrett to the right. Yes, Garrett was there. Steve was not there, but Garrett was. Good to see Garrett. Always smiling. This is behind where I took this picture is the bar. So as more and more people are coming in, it's a little chilly outside. You're getting kind of crammed into this place. I forgot where I was going. Oh yeah. So we're all coming in. Gino and Kiki come in. We see them. Gino and Anthony sit at the bar. They're having some drinks. And they start letting people in with the tickets. Now, I had a ticket snafu where the app that I got the ticket from did not let me save the QR code on my phone. So I printed it out and I had pictures of it, but I knew in the back of my head, I said, this is going to be a problem because they're going to want to see on the device itself. I brought it anyway. So yeah, the guy wouldn't take it. Everybody's piling in and I'm standing off to the side next to the bar. And I'm going through my phone. I'm telling the guy, look, you're going to have to look it up, whatever. So he's doing his thing. And as I'm standing there, turned around, I get a tap on my shoulder. I turn around. It's Stuttering John. He goes, hey, how you doing? I'm John. And I'm like, first of all, did nobody notice you walk in here? Second of all, why'd you come up to me? Do you remember who I am? And that's what I asked him. I was like, John, hey, hi, do you remember me? He's like, yeah, I think so. I was like, yeah, I'm Chris, Anthony's friend. Remember we talked some years ago? Oh, how you doing? Good to see you. Shook my hand. Let me tell you, the man was cordial, overly nice, good handshake. He looked fine. In fact, he blended in to me with everybody else in the room. I don't even think anybody noticed him. He's kind of short. So, or I'm kind of tall. So he goes off into the room somewhere inside. And I'm just standing there kind of befuddled. Like, why did, that was, oh, okay. Interesting. That seems to sum up in my mind how this evening was going to turn out. But, oh, I wasn't prepared for what was coming. So we get into the room. We get our seats. And the room itself, I'd like to show you how the layout is. Oh, here is, hang on, here's you can see the bar. And, of course, there's Anthony and Gino at the bar. Of course. I don't drink, so I was not going to be there. Let's see. Find the picture of the rooms. Okay, so here we go. When you walk in the room, these are the doors that you go through at Rodney's to come in. The bar's on the outside of these doors. And the other side of the room, so you can get to see how big the room is or how short it is here. There's the stage. It's a long room, but it's kind of short. Maybe 25 feet wide, but it's got to be at least probably 100, 125 feet deep. So you have all these tables and all these people sprawled out amongst the theater, whatever you want to call it, stage room. They were not prepared, not for the number of people, but the type of people that were coming to this thing. There were so many passionate people, Dabbleverse fans, all walks of life, Anthony fans, whatever, that I think the staff, which I want to give credit to, the Rodney staff, the waitresses, the waiters were having a very hard time keeping up with the sheer amount of drinks that people were having in this thing. Where we were sitting, we had these two little small round tables in front of us. They must have been knocked over 5 times. There were drinks all over the place, all over the floor, on my shoes. And I'll come back to how they managed that at the end because that was quite interesting. But the MC of the event was somebody from the Stern Show. I don't remember who it was. I was not really a Stern fan. I didn't really watch his show a lot. So I don't remember exactly who it was, but he said he wasn't very good at all. emceeing the event. I don't think I have a picture of him here. No, I don't. But you know, the job of the MC to try to get the room going, hype up the comedians that are coming up. You know, he's nothing memorable there. His jokes or lack thereof were not doing very well. The first comic that came up was this gentleman here, who is trying to be Rodney Dangerfield at Dangerfield's place. His name is Hardly Dangerous, an older gentleman who does the entire Rodney Dangerfield shtick, all of his jokes. Doesn't really have the mannerisms of Rodney Dangerfield. Who does? That's why it's Rodney Dangerfield. And he wasn't very good. Was not having a great night. There was not a lot of juice there. Everybody was just anticipating John and nobody knew what was going to go on. There was so much question. There were questions to the point of where people were talking, what are you going to do when John comes out? Are you going to clap? Some people would say, no, we're just going to zip our lip and let him come out to crickets. We did not know what was going on. So now in the room, I'm trying to not miss anything as I wrote a whole thing of notes to this. I didn't want to miss anything. I got a whole thing of notes here. All right. So sitting in the room, Bob and Gina Levy were kind of in front of me off to the left. Mikey Poker and a couple of their boys were sitting right in front of me. Anthony was about 10 feet to my right with Mikey Cuffs. And I had people sitting around me that recognized me, and I didn't even know who they were. I had no idea. I felt bad that they're coming up to me. What's up? What's up? I'm like, I don't know you, but what's up? All good people. All good people. So this poor guy here, after his set and he went off back towards the bar, apparently, and nobody in the room really knew this, he fell down the steps, which the bathrooms, like a lot of places in New York City, I hate going to the city, they're downstairs, and these buildings are old, real old. So he fell down the steps and apparently knocked himself unconscious. So the FDNY came, EMS came, and we didn't hear any of this in the room. Because after he came up, the next comedian was a comedian named Sheba Mason, who is Jackie Mason's daughter. Immediately, I was like, oh, okay, so this makes up for Caddyshack 2. Didn't get to talk to her. But this was during her set, apparently. And she did not do well either. I just, I've never seen these comics before. I'll chalk it up to being an off night. She did, though, get involved in what the Dabbleverse is. She was dropping some names. She did a little research or brought it up on her phone. Very smart of her. Very smart. So the crowd was kind of clapping and be like, oh, okay, she's down. She's down. Look, I am not in the Dabbleverse. I am, to quote my friend Evan, I am an IDO, an independent Dabbleverse observer. So I'm on the outside just looking in. And these are my thoughts about this craziness. So she's up. They're taking care of this guy in the side room or something. I guess they brought him outside. Or I don't know. Maybe they brought a gurney in. I don't know. But apparently Kevin Brennan, who was there, and Stevie Lou, they were sitting off in the bar, and they witnessed this whole thing. It was great to see Kevin. It was great to see Stevie. Matt Mead, I got pictures with them. In fact, I have, let me see. Yeah, here's Stevie. I haven't seen Stevie Lou in a long while, since the compound was open, so a couple of years. Same thing with Brennan. I haven't seen Brennan in a long time. And I have to give Kevin credit. Again, cordial, nice, shook his hand. I like Kevin. He's a good guy, and he's always fun. And being that he was there, everything was like coming into focus. Like, wow, these people are really showing up. So nobody knew what was going to happen. What is going to go on? Now, I did see some video from Kevin that there was a little raucous with John, where John went outside and was preparing to throw down. Again, we in the room saw none of this. So it was all kind of like, wow, when I got home, I learned about some of this, and talking to people afterwards was very, very interesting. Let's see. Where else were we going? Let's see. All right, so the guy fell down the steps. All right, let's get to Gino's set. I have seen Gino perform probably 10 times. And like most comics, most of the set is a lot of the same stuff that you're going to hear if you go to see people multiple times. You know, it's hard as a comedian. One of the hardest things to do is to always have fresh content. But here's where I give Gino a lot of credit. And I don't think people give him enough credit in this. You can see Gino 100 times. And 99 out of those 100 times, he's always going to do something with the crowd to make it different and to make you laugh. He is really, really good at it. He gets the crowd involved around him, whether it's a gay joke or a racial joke or something that's, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Shocking. And you're going to laugh, and you're going to laugh hard. He's so good at doing it. This is why, and I've said this before about Gino, he reminds me a lot of Don Rickles, in that Don Rickles was very good at making fun of the audience. His comedy itself was never that, Don Rickles, I never found that funny. But what he can do to the people in the audience was brilliant. Because you don't have to make up new material. The audience is going to be different every night. And Gino nails it. He does. Got to give him credit for that. Love the boy. It was great seeing him there. So during Gino's set, about halfway through, music came on. And nobody knew where it was coming from. I thought if you could see behind Gino, there's like a stereo kind of setup, some kind of, I guess, for the mics and stuff. I thought he might have kicked it or tripped a wire or something, because we're all looking around. And even Gino, he stopped and he thought that he was getting kicked off the stage because of something he said. And like, we're like, no, what? No, we don't know what's going on. What's the music? Eventually it stopped after a couple minutes, and he had to kind of pick up where he left off, and he finished strong. Gino had the strongest set of anybody in the night by far. He's always good. That's Uncle Gino. Let's see. Okay. After Gino, Keanu came up. She did her set. Now, what was interesting here, I believe I have a picture of Kiki. Yeah, there's a picture of Kiki. So you can see we're sitting, you know, no more than 15 feet from the stage. So Keanu comes up, and I believe it was during her set that the NYPD officer comes into the area where we're sitting and asks Anthony, can you please come out, and escorts him outside. Now, when Anthony was coming in to take his seat, he came up to me and he was like, dude, I think I fucked my thumb up. I was like, why? He's like, I had to throw down a little bit outside. And I thought he was kidding. I was like, yeah, okay, you goof. But then I started getting texts of like, hey, is he okay? What happened? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. He's here. Mm-mm. So I would find out later. I saw the video that's been posted of that douchebag that was outside giving him a whole bunch of crap. And yeah, bitch got smacked. What are you going to do? You know, he handled business. I give him credit and kudos. Wasn't expecting that. We originally thought that he was getting arrested. I was like, oh shit. We're gonna have to bail him out, or what's going on here? But no, he came back after a couple minutes. Everything was fine. And this comes to really where we start getting involved here. So the MC of the night had Anthony come up, and Anthony got the biggest rousing ovation of anybody in the room, obviously. There were a couple times during the evening where I myself started to Anthony chants, Anthony, Anthony, and the whole place was going. I never started a chant before in my life. I thought that was pretty fucking cool. So the MC has Anthony come up on stage, and all right, this is where we get involved here. Anthony gave John a gift, a massive, massive gift. I'm going to let you watch this introduction here. Let me pop it to my right here. Okay. So here's Anthony coming up on stage. Now I want you to pay attention to the crowd and how everybody in the room, everybody, all of a sudden was anticipating John coming up in a positive attitude, cheering and clapping. Watch for yourself here. Let me see. Wait, where do I play the thing? How come it didn't play? Wait a minute. Hang on. Oh, there it goes. Here we go.
Coming down to Rodney's. What a great night. So many people came out. You know, when I first mentioned this, they had sold in the tens of tickets.
Now, first of all, he's completely right. If Anthony didn't come to this, who was showing up? I wasn't going. I don't think anybody else was going. Nobody would have damn well flew in. Carl and Kaylee, who flew in from Rochester, the guys that flew in from Chicago, there was nobody coming to this thing. This room would have been empty. Empty. Yet, because the man shows up, look what he brought. This is Christmas and Hanukkah wrapped into one.
And when I started talking about it on the show and the whole Dabbleverse thing, you may have heard of the Dabbleverse, and I knew Stuttering John Melendez was going to headline this club, I knew I had to be here. I don't think there's ever been an occasion where there was an entire crowd of people that literally despise the comedian that's coming up.
Completely 1,000,000,000% correct. There was no John fans in this room. Nobody came there saying, "Ooh, I'm coming to see Stuttering John. I can't wait." Everybody that was there, I guess, had some kind of expectation of a disaster, but they were willing to give him a chance. And this is where it got really, really strange, because the whole room just became one big positive ball of hugs for John. And you're about to see it as John walks in, and we are all in John's corner.
Don't give him any shit. Let him do his act. Ladies and gentlemen, Stuttering John Melendez.
Do you hear this? Everybody in the room is clapping, cheering for John. This, Anthony's off the stage now. He handed it off. He opened Scrooge McVault's duck and told John, jump right in. All the gold is yours. I have never seen anybody in any comedy show that I've ever been to, and I've been to quite a few. I've never seen anybody do this for another comic this overt. It was insanity. Now, look at John here. Do you hear them chant, Duke, Duke, Duke? He looks okay, but he's a little sulky. Just a little, you see it, not really smiling. Doesn't seem to be uppity and excited about what happened. You would think that he would have came in high-fiving, just shaking hands. He could have made friends here and embraced the Dabbleverse, and all of a sudden possibly turned around what the Dabbleverse has done to him over the last couple years. The door was wide open. And he took the biggest dump of shit right in the doorway. That's me. Look at the people. Where this went, which you're going to see shortly. And I don't have much video of the John's performance in itself, but I have enough so you understand what happened. They're standing up and giving him a standing ovation. Right in the middle of your picture, to the guy to the right of the guy in the light, that's Anthony. Standing ovation. Let me say, if Hitler would have come in the room and did a knock-knock joke, they all would have been on his side. That's how much love was going in this room right now. Everybody's clapping, cheering, standing, woo, 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 everything you could think of for John.
Oh my God, the people!
So at this point, you're past people wondering, oh, is he going to show up? Obviously, you know, you had all the questions of, is he really going to come? He's there, obviously. And you're like, oh my God, he's really here after all the shit that people give him. He's here and he's going to do his thing. And we're going to sit back. And now, you know, we're going to kill him about his set or lack thereof or whatever. But it just was not expected, at least to the masses, of what he was going to do. Now, I had got a text. Our friend Mel had texted me that he was watching Shuli's show and that there was a mention that he was going to come up to the stage and he was going to read Anthony's arrest report from some years ago. And I poo-pooed it. I said, I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think he's got the balls, and I don't... Why? Especially after seeing this, I figured he's going to get up there, he's going to talk about his childhood or some stern stuff, or he'll talk about, you know, shitware and all that, anything. But what he did, there are no words coming. Can you see the guy in front? It makes me want to pull my hair out. It really does, because it's so painful. Silver platter, silver spoon, whatever you want to call this. The gift that no, and I'm not going to call John a comic, because he's obviously not a comic. He's not a professional stand-up comic. He dabbles in comedy. Thank you, Chrissy. To give him what he was given this night, I'm trying to think of like... It's like you're a baseball player and they've started you with not only a 3-0 count, but the ball's already in the outfield and you don't have to swing, you just got to run. A gift like that, just, this doesn't happen to anyone. And now he's sitting on stage. You see he's got the papers in his hand. Now, excuse me. When he was walking in, I happened to kind of see the papers a little bit. And I thought that the back of the papers, something was written in Sharpie marker. At least it looked to me like it was. And I said, okay, he must have jokes written down or just words. Because, you know, some comedians will they'll bring something with a word on it that'll remind them of a story or something so they don't lose their place. That's what I was expecting. That's what everybody in this room is expecting. A show. A little laugh, poke fun, you know, anything like that. But he never took off. I said to somebody there, in fact, I don't know if I said it too. I might have tweeted it. I said, this was like, well, I'm going to show you what it's like in a second, actually. Better than my words.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So, from there, he does this. Come on, where's the... Wait a minute. Did I move it over? No, I didn't. Where's that? Wait, where's the video, ladies and gentlemen? Hang on. Oh, wait, is that it? Okay, it is.
Fractured with a swollen arm and acute chest pain in a live stream Periscope video captured in immediate aftermath. She displayed visible bruises and claimed her hand had been broken.
Okay, at this point, we don't know exactly what's going on. We know what he's reading. Obviously, we're fans and friends of Anthony. We know what it is. But we're kind of sitting there like, all right, what's going to be the joke to this? He's going to ha-ha. He's going to stand up and, oh, Bucky, or something like that. No. This was it. This is all he was doing. So, I mean, I can't.
No, man, nothing is fucked here.
Nothing is fucked!
No, man.
The goddamn plane has crashed into the mountain!
Yeah, it was basically, this is what it was. For all of you remembering the Die Hard. It's in a plane, taking off. Everything seems fine. Everybody's all good. All of a sudden, oh shit. This was John's set, or lack thereof. That's what we all thought. So he keeps going. Oh wait, where was I? Here we go. He's showing people pictures from what I'm guessing was a news article. It wasn't a police report because it was written like he was reading it from the news, probably Newsday or something like that. He printed this out to bring with him. So this was not a last second thing. He thought about this and thought that this was going to be funny or shocking or... Now, Anthony was exonerated for this event that happened some years ago. Was proven. He got the, page 72 retraction, whatever. So this is not exactly something that you could think about poking fun at when it doesn't exist. You know, everything that was said in that particular article was proven that he was not at fault for anything to do with this. Some people don't believe that. Some people don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. That's a fact. So to sit there in a room of 150 people and read this bullshit news article, what did he exactly expect was going to happen? Well, we will finish this.
Good. Just let him talk. Can't film.
Now that's where the guy told me I got to shut my film, my camera off. The whole room flipped like a pancake. I have never seen anything like this before. I probably will never see anything like this ever again. He went from extreme love and jubilation to everybody wants to beat the fuck out of you. You better get out of here. It was really messed up. So he was on the stage for a little over 11 minutes. This is the headliner of the evening. 11 minutes. Somebody, they said his name, I think his name was Tommy, went on the stage, which, again, shouldn't ever do. There are lines you don't cross. And you heard people, let him do his act. Let him do his act. Don't interfere. Don't cross that line. Don't be stupid. This was known. This guy went up on stage, grabbed the papers from John, and ripped them up like Nancy Pelosi and threw them up in the air. And everybody was, shouldn't have done that regardless. So now he's got nothing. He picks up his beer, takes a little drink, does a little scola, and walks off the stage. Thank you, and walks off the stage. Or good night. I don't know if he said good night or thank you. And walks off. And the whole place is like, what just happened? What did we just see? This was the biggest bomb of all time. It was painful. From jubilation to like literal death. I can't really put into words the swing of emotion from everybody in that room. I looked at my wife and I said, we may have a riot here. This is not good. People are pissed. People don't know what's going on. The headliner just walked off. Now, I heard, I can't confirm, but I did hear that apparently when he was walking out, he was crying. Now, if that is a fact, I felt bad for him when I first heard that, to a point. You know, when you have self-inflicted wounds like this, especially, again, the gift of what he was given during this entire evening, he could have been bawling his eyes out on the way. It's his own fault. It's none of our fault. We are paying patrons. We came to support you. Yet, you totally crapped on everybody in the room. And the staff, and the owner of the club. Now, Rodney's made bank on this, I'm sure. This place was sold out, like I said. People were buying drinks left and right. But this is... I forget who I turned to, and I said, this is going to be weeks of breakdowns and Rico shows, podcasts. Carl could have ran a tape on this of all the things that could have broken down. I'm sure they will, because they are so good at doing that. Shuli's show is on now, I believe. I think he's still on. I'm sure there'll be Rico's coming. Who are their podcasts coming about this? I'm sure Anthony's going to discuss this on his show, obviously. I felt I had to come on and give my perspective into this whole thing. Again, as the independent Dabbleverse observer. Holy shit, man. Not only am I happy that I went, and we hung out afterwards. We went to a karaoke bar afterwards. I was on Twitter. I went live. Crazy amount of people in that place, but not even going to discuss that really because that had nothing to do with, that was just friends hanging out. I'm still not processing everything that occurred in front of my face. The reaction of people online, I heard that Reddit was going batshit crazy. I was getting texts from Shuli. I was getting texts from E-Rock asking me what's going on, what's happening, and I'm trying to feed them, while I'm trying to process everything that's going on. The poor waitresses at the end of the night after this were having a real hard time getting the patrons who bought all the drinks to pay for their drinks because they told you when you got in and you sat down, stay in your seat, because that's how we can track what you drank is on our little computer here, phone, whatever, so we know what you owe. Everybody was up and walking and moving and talking and joking. It was fucking mass hysteria in that room, to the point that there was supposed to be a $20 drink minimum per person. And me and my wife, we had 3 Pepsis, and they charged me $21, and that was it. I was like, ooh, so I got even cheaper out of this. So, to recap, and I have some other pictures here I'll throw up real quick so you can see. Let's see. Because I know I skipped over a couple. You saw Kevin. Let me see. Saw this one. I had pictures of Matt. I don't know where I put them. Let's see. Hang on. Let's see what Shuli's talking about. Because Shuli's on right now. I never snipe stream, but let's go in there and see what he's talking about. Oops, where is his thing?
Said the guy who runs from everything.
You gotta love the Rico shows.
How great that you're fucked.
Oh yeah. So while they have this on, I could talk about this for a second. So John there, that's today, apparently came on and did a show, and he was taking a victory lap about what happened last night. A victory lap. He is out of his fucking mind. This, once again, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. This was the single biggest comedic bombing of all time. All time. And the reason why, again, went from here to where the crowd was, to below here to where the crowd finished up within, I'd say 3 minutes. 3 minutes of him reading the news article. How do you come back from that and call that a victory, or that I won, or you weren't even in the game, dude? I'm not a stand-up comedian. I've never tried stand-up comedy. I've thought about it. I think I'm a generally funny person, but even I know that what he did last night, I would never even attempt stand-up comedy ever again. Supposedly he has a show tonight in New Jersey. Now, there's always there's no such thing as bad press. And I'm sure people are going to be curious to see, does he even have an act? What will he do tonight? He's going to get a little rollover from that, I would expect. Now, nobody went to this thing, as far as I know. I think Keanu might be performing there, so maybe she'll give us an update on what happened. And how does that dynamic work out? Because obviously Gino and Kiki were on John's show or what have you. This is like a snowball of shit rolling downhill, man. I don't get it at all. And neither do you. And that's why you've tuned in to try to make sense of this. There is no sense. John bombed. Case closed. Period at the end of the sentence. Poland didn't get bombed this bad in 1943. Iran didn't get this bomb today. That's what I'm hearing from all over the place. Take the worst bomb that you could think of. You know, I was looking for the video of the plane crashing into the mountain to use, and I couldn't find it. And that just shows you where my mind is at as far as what John did last night. I can't visualize it any better than that. That's when I came up with the Die Hard 2 thing. I told Anthony last night, I said, dude, this room at the karaoke bar. This was like taking off in a 747, and 2 seconds after you're off the ground, all 4 engines fall off. It doesn't happen. Wow. That is my 2 cents on this whole thing. I don't think I really left much out. I did the end thing. I talked about Brennan. I said Kevin was great. And again, Kevin being there, I think, was one of the biggest dynamics. And Bob Levy. But Levy was always the peacekeeper. But Kevin being there, talking with Anthony, and they have a nice relationship. They're out of the Ant's out of the Kevin Brennan business. Kevin's out of the Ant business. But they're still cordial and still find each other hilariously funny, which they are. So, but when Kevin was there, like I said, the whole dynamic seemed to change a little bit. Like, ooh, this got serious now because there's some bad blood, real bad blood between Kevin and John because John has thin skin. I was poked fun about a lot when I was growing up in school. I learned a long time ago, self-depreciating humor. That is the way to make all the haters have nowhere to go. Poke fun at me? I'll poke fun at me. I do it every day. I'm a fat putz. I freely admit that. Gives him nowhere to go. John never learned this, apparently. With the lawsuits and the crazy shit that he says about people. So when I saw Kevin outside, I was like, oh, this is going to kick off something interesting. And apparently there was some words and stuff. Again, I didn't see any of that. So I don't want to comment on stuff that I didn't witness. But what I did witness was the Hindenburg crashing down to the Titanic. That's it, man. I'm so glad that we went. Again, I'm never going to witness anything like this ever again. If there is a winner in this whole thing, by far it was Anthony. And I'm not saying this because Anthony is a good, great friend of mine. This was a legitimate victory. He should have took a lap around the room. Everybody that was there, Anthony brought in and was all in his pocket. And he led them and said, listen, you heard it. I'll play it again if you need to. Let John do his set. Let him come up here. Give him your attention. Don't heckle him. Don't throw anything at him. Be smart. Be good. You paid for the tickets. Let's let him do his thing. Let's see what he's got. That's what I expected. That's what everybody in that room expected. John doing John's thing. Easy. Straightforward. Oh, did it not turn out that way? Oh my, oh my, oh my. So yeah, Shuli's on. So yeah, I came up with this. Somebody had mentioned it, and I called it Dabblestock. I did this. I put it on Twitter the other day. I wish I would have printed these shirts and had them. I think Haley was one that came up with it on Carl's show, or no, she was on with Shuli, I think, and they mentioned Dabblestock, and I was like, oh, I gotta make an image of it. I would have sold out of these things and I could have sold them for $100 a t-shirt. People would have freaking bought it. This is a milestone achievement in comic history. This is the lowest of the low, the bottom of the barrel. I mean, I don't think people that have given up stand-up comedy after one bombing have bombed this bad to actually, and he's back again tonight. Well, that's my 2 cents. I've said it. My wife and I had an amazing evening, and I think everybody that was there really felt the same way. You were happy that you were there because explaining this to people is going to be just the greatest thing on earth. I was there when Stuttering John literally shit his pants on stage. He did everything but this was outstandingly horrific. I don't really know how much I could stress it. The feeling of every person in that room. I was talking to Garrett afterwards, and Garrett and I had the same look on our face. Like, what? Where are we? What just occurred? I don't know. But it was fucking fascinating. Yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. In a nutshell. Everything. Front to back. Wow. Now, would I ever go to another John show again? No. Obviously not. Why would you? There is no coming back from this. I was at Game 2 of the 1996 World Series when Greg Maddux of the Braves pitched against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. And he literally shut us down. 18 ground ball outs. 18 ground ball outs. I left that stadium so down and so out of it. I was a mess for days until the Yankees came back in that series. I left yesterday with such a high from such a bad thing that I witnessed. I almost feel guilty about it. And like I said before, I don't feel bad for John. I could have. If he got up there and he really tried to do a legit set, talk and wasn't getting laughs and stuff, I think I could have left there feeling bad for the guy, saying, man, he went up there and he tried, and look, he didn't have a great set, people were hating on him, whatever. Again, IDO. I could have felt bad for him. But fuck no. Oh my God. I don't feel bad for shit. He deserved everything he got. And the victory lap that Ant got last night was beautiful. Everybody in that room was so happy to see him and so pissed off at what John did. And that will be that. So there you go. Dabblestock 2026 in a nutshell. How long did that take me? Where's my clock on this thing? An hour. Boom. I said I was going to do an hour. So, ladies and gents, thank you. Listen, watch all the other shows. Go watch Shuli's show on YouTube. I think they're on YouTube and Rumble. Watch Carl's show. He does a great breakdown of everything, all these different podcasts. Who are these podcasts? Watch Kaylee's show. She has two. She comes on as Lucy Tightbox to break down John's legal battles, so to speak. But then she also has another show on YouTube. I think it's called, hang on, I'm going to give it the right name it deserves. It's like Kaylee Over something. Wait a minute. I want to be right. Once Over with Kaylee. So go follow her, watch her shows. She does great breakdowns of movies and stuff. And I want to thank everybody that was there last night. People that came up to me. I'm sorry if I didn't remember who you are. I don't see you people enough to remember faces and names. But it was great to see Kevin Brennan, Stevie Lou, Matt Mead, Mikey Cuffs, Mikey Poker, Garrett, Big A, Gino, Kiki. Got to see Bob Levy for the first time in a long time. Bob and his wife Gina. Everybody that came who I saw there. I love you all. You guys are really great. I love how we're all like a big compound family. That we were just separated a little bit because the father went and moved down to South Carolina, but we still coexist and we're still there. So thank you all for watching. My voice, as you can tell, was shot with the one song I sang at karaoke last night. It's gone. So no karaoke this weekend. It's going to take me a couple of days to recover. But I'll be back on Friday. And I do have something planned using this whole setup that I've got here. I got to get more work done on it. Our good friend Rex Kramer, who I'm sure is tuned in and watching, we got a little something coming up on a great idea that he had come across that I'm working on. That we'll have it coming up shortly. There'll be some announcements for that. It's going to be really a lot of funny stuff, really funny stuff. So have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you all on the next one. See, I got to do all this clicking. Oops, wait, yeah, I'm sorry. There you go. Got to do all this clicking in this thing because I'm the producer and everything else. So I'll see you all later on. See you at the next Dabble something.